If I think of women in sport, for example, myself as a female athlete, a retired athlete, it's the beautiful thing about women's sport is that we all push together and we're all trying to learn off each other, where it's we take each other's ideas, we learn from each other's mistakes, and we have open and honest conversations. And with that, all you can do is build on it to create more success within women's sport. I think if I think of the stimulation topics that have already been talked about, we think of things that we can build on, and those things we need to keep there because you continue to build and it's never a finished product. And I think if we think of, yes, the diversity and inclusion piece, it's always going to be something quite big. We think about the equality, which will always be something we talk about, but again, it's the stuff that we need to really sort of hone in on is how can we help each other, how can we help those around us. And we talk about allyship in lots and lots of ways. However, it's how can you be an ally within sports? How can you learn off other federations, for example, and national governing bodies? How can you also then bring male sports in and actually learn off them as well and make it a complete inclusive environment? So on paper, my biggest achievement is the gold medal at the Rio Olympics. However, for me, my greatest achievement was actually going to Tokyo Olympics and therefore then winning that bronze medal. And I didn't get selected for London 2012. And then from that point, I actually was very fortunate to get selected for 2 more Olympic Games, and that came because I simply worked exceptionally hard. But if I think of me as an athlete at the Rio Olympics, yes, I won this medal. Yes, I was part of an incredible team, but the thing that I hadn't worked out was how to be happy off the hockey pitch. And I think you look at all of these incredible athletes that have achieved so much, and I was that athlete on the podium looking down thinking, oh, this isn't exactly what I thought it would be. And will anything ever be enough? And it was a really tough feeling for me to actually feel. And I made a promise to myself after that if I went to another Olympics, winning a medal or not, that I would be happy with the Susannah Townsend off the hockey pitch. And for me, I felt that. I felt proud of myself. I felt proud of myself as a hockey player. I was more present than I'd ever been on the hockey pitch. Therefore, I played a lot better. And I think of my career and things that I've achieved, I've been part of teams that have allowed me to be myself. And I've been part of teams that have been there with my successes, with my failures, and they've picked me up and they've also pushed me on to be successful. And I think if I can think of how any team can actually take something from that, it's allow people to be themselves, actually try and take the time to understand each other. And we think of sport, for example, you work on your fitness, your mental side, all of these things. But actually, a lot of it is take the time to get to know the people around you. And you can take that from sport and in business, and all of that completely resonates. Successful teams, for me, you have a group of individuals that have to find a way to work together. And you don't necessarily have to like each other, but I've been very fortunate that actually the teams I've been a part of, we have actually found a way to like each other. And we always think of the most successful people in business and in sport doing the most. And the ones that put their hands up in meetings, the ones that are always actually the ones that are getting the awards. However, the way that I actually learned my biggest lessons was simply meetings where you sit in a circle and you say, look, what are my super strengths? And the exercise of simply doing it with someone next to you, you actually realise that your super strengths are very different to what you think they are. And celebrating the really small stuff. So why did I actually get selected for 2 Olympic Games? Simply because I was really consistent. And I had a meeting with a coach after London and he said, look, Susannah, I don't care if you're up here because sometimes you're down here. And I want to know the exact Susannah I'm going to get every single time you step onto that hockey pitch. And I think for me, if I think of what sort of changed my career into becoming a really good athlete, and it was having, yes, and simple things, having a conversation in a circle. Not all of us want to put our hand up and answer a question in a meeting, even if we know the answer. So create a space where you get the best out of everyone, whether that's you have small groups, whether that's you feedback stuff or writing it on a post-it note, whether that's you send an email or something to give people a voice, because we have it in every single situation in life where you hear the same voices. But actually, everyone else around, they have different ways of giving feedback, different ways of receiving feedback, and just make sure you find a way to make everyone inclusive in that whole process. So a lot of us, so you think of, let's relate it to like a rumour that's happened. So you hear a rumour and you get really invested in someone else's rumour, and we get invested in what other people have done. However, a lot of the time we don't actually like to look at ourselves and what we're doing. And we can say, look, go read that book, go educate yourself, go go to that workshop, listen to that seminar. But actually, it's a bit like being, I suppose, an alcoholic or a drug addict, that unless you want to do it yourself, then you won't do it. And you have to have that drive to do it yourself. It doesn't matter if you're told. If you're told and you don't want to do it, people don't tend to do it. And I've had experiences within teams that I've been a part of where you have those workshops put on, you have all those things put on, and the people that invest and actually are present when they're there are the ones that get the most out of it. And we have to continue to educate ourselves. And sometimes you think of a book that you like to read or a genre you like to read about, you read it because you like it. You read it because it hits something that makes you smile. However, we all have to get to a point where we're willing to learn about other things that maybe don't directly affect us, that actually realise they do directly affect us because it's how society is. And you may have a friend, you may have a partner, you may have a child that's going to be affected by it. But the underlying message for me is that we need to take ownership over actually educating ourselves and want to, and actually share that message with people, because it's incredibly important, and it will create change.